From Wesley Clove to your earlobe, this is the Step Over Podcast, Ottawa's grassroots soccer podcast. My name is Josh. Thanks for joining. And if you're listening to this podcast, then you're one of either two kinds of people. You're either a really big fan of soccer in Ottawa, or you're a big fan of super unbelievably niche sports podcast. And in either case, I love you. I appreciate you. But if you're in group one, then you got to get yourself acquainted with Capital City Supporters Group. Of course, if you're not already. If you've been to TD Place for a Atletico Ottawa game, then you've definitely seen them in Section W. And there's a lot that I love about that crew. Not only do they make noise in the stands, they're organizing events, creating content for fans, and really just making it really accessible to be a fan of our local pro club, Atletico Ottawa. Now, as we're looking forward to the season kicking off in early April, they got their hands full with a lot of stuff going on. And I had a chat with the group's founder, Daniel Duff, as well as key members Thomas Stockting and Eddie Benhin to talk about what they got coming up. So if you're excited for the upcoming season, this chat is a must listen. So here's my chat with the crew from CCSG. All right, we're here with Eddie Benhin, Daniel Duff, and Thomas Stockting of Capital City Supporters Group. Guys, how are you?
Awesome,
man.
Yeah, really good. Thank you, mate. Really good.
We have a lot I want to talk to you guys about, so let's get right to it. Let's start with a quick look at last year. So last season was CCSG's first season where you were able to be at TD Place and be physically there, present, cheering on Atletico Ottawa. So especially as a still relatively new supporters group, what were some of the takeaways for you as a group, from that first in-person season?
Well, I mean, I think it was remarkably successful in terms of the precedent we were able to set for ourselves. We had big goals as a supporters group coming into this thing, doing our extracurricular activities outside of the supporters section. We sort of wanted to make the same impression in the stands, and we were able to get a couple of written pieces by local press and a press by the league talking about the atmosphere in Section W and what Capital City was able to bring. GF Blanc, one of the local members of Le Droit, wrote a wonderful piece saying that the highlight of last season was the Capital City Supporters Group and the supporters in Section W. So, a lot of people seem to notice what we were doing. We came extremely organized and wanted to, take a militant stance on controlling the fan atmosphere from the first whistle until the final whistle. And I think we did a wonderful job doing that. Eddie, our match day officer, was spectacular all year long with Brandon Adibe, who is his counterpart down there in the dub. We had two full-time flag men and women at the north and south of the stands that were waving constantly to the annoyance of the rivaling supporting clubs. So that was wonderful. And we had great companions and comrades in there with the Bytown boys. We were able to lean on them when we needed to, and vice versa. And we wanted to make sure that going into the first season in Section W, that both groups were on the same page, and we were going to have a well-oiled chant machine down there at TD Place.
So did you get any feedback from maybe new fans of the supporter section who maybe hadn't experienced that before?
I mean, Thomas and Eddie did a wonderful job sort of indoctrinating new members, new people. It almost seemed multiple times during a match. The group has expanded immensely during the start of last season till present. It's just ballooned. We have over 300 members, which is in terms of supporters group, it in a city like Ottawa is pretty large. Not all of them active, but I'd like Eddie and Thomas to step in on this one, because I think you guys played such a wonderful role at reaching out to newbies and sort of indoctrinating them into the supporters culture here?
Yeah, I'll jump on this one if that's all right, Eddie. I mean, I think like you asked there, Josh, what like the favorite thing was last year, some of the things we learned. Honestly, like my favorite bit from last year was just being in the stands and cheering for a football team live again, which, it's been a while since we'd actually been able to do it. And then, as Dan says, we're sort of surrounded by a bit more casual fans in the first few games. There was an adaptation period where people were questioning why, I got the cheapest seats in the house and all these guys are being loud and obnoxious and singing and dancing. Obnoxious is maybe actually quite a harsh word, but I think maybe that's how it had come across to some people coming into the dub for the first time. But got that sign put up, and as the weeks went on, there was just really good dialogue. None of it was too confrontational or anything of the sorts. We had a great liaison with the previous director of ticketing, Nick Ryan, who was very flexible and allowed people who had a seat in the dub to be able to move over to other sections if it just wasn't quite what they were expecting, if it was just too much for them in their first go. And yeah, for me, it was just being able to, whether it was students or families and stuff like that, just speaking to them, if there's a goal, if there's a chance, I don't just stand around with Dan up at the top. I mean, Eddie's all the way down the front, so I barely speak to him anyway. But, I don't just stand with Dan. I'm like running up and down the aisles, like trying to get other people involved, trying to get other people to stand up. And I don't try and do it. I try and find a balance between like pushing people to do it and not being, pushy. Towards the end of the season, you have people coming up to you in the last few games going, Tom, like, you're great again today. And it's like, I have no idea who you are, but thank you. And like that's something I'd like to work on this year, is remembering people's names a little bit more, for sure. Eddie, what did you make of it?
No, I mean, just like you, I had people every game coming up to me saying, good job. I had no idea who they were, but always appreciate that. And they seem to have a blast. No, it was a great season. I had a lot of fun. I've never done this before, but, these two, like, said, you're going to do it. I'm like, okay. So lots of fun. Got to meet a lot of new cool people and a lot of new connections. And as the season progressed, it grew and grew, and we started growing reputation. And now I think I checked today, or someone posted on Discord, that Section W is all sold out for tickets.
Really?
It's complete. I think it's red on the scene chart. I think I saw that today on Discord. I might be wrong. Fact check that. But we heard a lot of people were moving their season tickets over to the dub. So hopefully those people want to be active or not just trying to like be, front seat for the action. But I think I have a very good feeling for this season. I think we're going to be even better than last season.
So Eddie, something that I didn't realize is that you were volunteered for the match day officer, like leader, face of the section.
It was voluntold.
It was like voluntold.
It was voluntold.
It was voluntold.
But also, let's be honest, as soon as he like did it for the first 3 minutes, like Eddie was just so into it. I was like, we're never taking this role off him.
That's fantastic.
I mean, when I started the group, I set out, I was like, I've got a face and personality for late night radio. So, I had no business being on the live streams and liaisoning with the players.
I was thinking more like PBS News, actually.
But I also had no business being down at the front, and part of the indoctrination to get Eddie involved was this role as match day officer. I mean, we wanted him to be down there. He's young, he's youthful, he's energetic. He's a huge football supporter, and he loves to try anything once, and that's where a lot of these great chants have come from. We have more that we're adding to our chant Bible, and there's more information on that coming out soon as well. But last year was wonderful, Josh, and it was great to see you there and a lot of other people. And when you're going to cities like Halifax for road matches and you run into somebody at a bar and they know your name. I've never been to Halifax before at all, and it turned out that the person that said hello to me, that I ended up having a 15-minute chat with, she's in section W, 2 rows behind me. And because I never turn around and I didn't know what was going on, she was born and raised in Halifax, came to visit her mom, and my partner and I were in Halifax for the Atleti Wanderers match last year. And like, here she is living in Ottawa in Section W, cheering for Atletico. We're in Halifax, and we just happen to be at the same time. And it's like, from that day forward, we've always been able to say hello to one another and made more of a kinsmanship with one another in the dub. But it's like, that's what Section W has turned into. It's almost like a fraternity in a way. It's spectacular, and we're looking forward to make it even better this year, Josh.
Fantastic. So obviously CCSG produces like a ridiculous amount of content. And like, I would say it's got to be more than any other supporters group in at least North America. Like it's fantastic what you guys do. And like, in terms of content you'll be looking to produce throughout this coming season, like what's on your radar, or like what's in the plans?
So we have a lot of things that are sort of coming up through this year. Some things we're banging the drum slowly in a lot of things, but the club is starting to take on more and more digital content itself. So we're more than happy to relinquish some of the territory to the club, and we're quite happy to do so. But we have a couple of new programs that we're running. We're gonna do podcasts like we did last year. We're still working on the finite details. We're going to have new players involved in it this year. We had multiple people suggest and request to want to step up and do that. That'll be a stats-based, weekly-based podcast. We have this post-match, pre-match hot stove that we're doing on the Twitter forums, which has been explosive for us when we've tried it. We experimented with it during the player signings and announcements, and that's a forum that we just have really drawn ourselves to. We're trying to get our hands on a couple of pieces of content in terms of players, making sure that we continue to do player interviews and live streams. And the big thing that Capital City likes to do that nobody does in all of supporters group that I'm pretty sure of is we not only do we make digital content, we stream it and broadcast it live. So and that's a huge major component of interest for us even doing it. So on the 31st of March, which is just a couple of days away, we'll be doing the 2022 Capital City season preview. We're going to have a special guest with us. Eddie and Thomas will be with us to anchor the show. We're going to have fan panels like we did last year, and a couple of new things. We're also looking to create some new shows and new content as well alongside with the club. We're working with the club and have been tremendously with Ryan and now with John to build some things as well. So people are just gonna have to wait and see a little bit to see what the digital content is going forward. We're not going to expose it all here, but there's plenty coming for sure. Josh, thanks for asking.
Yeah, so you mentioned the upcoming season preview that you're going to be doing. Like, I'm always impressed with like the level of quality of the content that you do produce.
I should also mention, sorry, Josh, thank you very much for contributing to our draft special with Eddie and Brandon. That was successful. It was one of the most watched YouTube videos that we've ever done. So, and that was part of this year's sort of content. So you're in it too, man.
It was absolutely my pleasure.
Thank you for that while it was on the tip of my tongue.
No worries. I mean, thanks for having me. It's always good to do anything with you guys, Actually, so you mentioned that you'll be kind of co-producing some things with the club, which to me makes it sound like there's going to be more collaboration happening this year. Like, what was was there like a genesis for that, or is that just like a developing relationship with the club?
I think it's a bit of both. The club has decided to take on more content creation itself, and we have ideas. And one of the greatest things about Atletico and our relationship that we built, I mean, we haven't been handed anything. We've had to work extremely hard to get ourselves to where we are, and I thank the guys who are on this with me enough for their contributions. But it's them taking off certain things off our plate, and our content collaboration with the club will be more along the lines of events and capturing events and doing specific things. Obviously, we've built a relationship of trust with the club to allow us to be able to have players on live and which is very rare, and access to players is very rare for a supporters group. And they've just, I can't say enough about Michelle and Fernando and John and everybody at the club that has just been very gracious with allowing Capital City to kind of grow, but also kind of do what it wants in terms of this sort of creative bug that we have that we're trying to take advantage of. But it's been organic. To answer your question, Josh, it's sort of it's a bit of a wait and see with the club, because a lot of these things come together at the last minute. But I just wanted to put it out there that the sort of where people are going to be able to find certain things is going to slightly be changing in 2022 and going forward. That's all.
Yeah, and I just kind of wanted to add on to the end of that, as Dan was sort of saying, like Eddie, Dan, myself, we put a lot of work in over the last 18 to 24 months to really showcase what we can do, the talents we have, the fact that we can be professional, despite the fact that we're just essentially volunteer football fans trying to produce content. The club was in its infancy, as we know. They were still trying to establish themselves. They've not had time at TD Place, as you mentioned at the top of this podcast, Josh. And they didn't probably really have the infrastructure in place to start producing content with the players like you would see from most media departments from every professional club around the world. And I think it's one thing to be able to sort of pass that buck off, so to speak, and allow us to do it. But there's another element of it wasn't just like, oh, well, we don't want to do it, let's get these guys to do it. We worked hard. We did a lot of stuff that had nothing to do with players or anything of the sorts, to showcase and build a portfolio, essentially, to be able to showcase that we have the ability to do this. And yeah, as Dan said, the club were very gracious. Nick, again, probably the biggest element at the start in actually getting us access to people and players like that. And as Dan said, the focus might shift a little bit this year, as Dan said, the club are going to be doing more themselves. So then what happens there? Are you stepping on each other's toes? Are you producing the same content? Or how about we just change the angle and go in a different way? And I'm not going to reveal anything here, not my place to, but we've definitely been considering the different roads to go down, and they're not worse roads or better roads. They're different roads, and I'm excited to see what we can do as the group grows.
Okay. So the upcoming season preview, last year's was, you did such a good job. It's unbelievably well done. Is there anything you can tell us about this year's special and what fans might be able to expect? Any little tidbits for us?
Yeah, well, we're going to have fan panels starting 11 again. That went off really well, so we wanted to sort of rehash that. We're reaching out to our members to do that. We're also, we're gonna have players on. Somebody that I wanted to have on for years, and since they're back with us, it would be, I don't want to say it, because if I announce who it's going to be and then something happens and they have to cancel, then I look like the guy who's doesn't have all of his cards together here. But we're working on getting some, a legendary Ottawa player to come on, and we want to flesh out more of the content with our match day operator with Eddie and Brandon, who were wonderful last year with their show, The Cheap Seats. We're sort of going in a different direction with that show, but we're going to make sure that they wield something going forward. And I have some plans that Eddie doesn't even know about yet for the season preview that are going to put him and Brandon together, doing something that they've never done before.
That's why Eddie's eyebrow go up there.
Yeah, this is all news to me as well. These two, they tell me what to do and I do it. So this is all news to me. I get like, first hearing, so I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna show up and do my thing. And all I know, Brandon and I work together. Well, today at camp we were teaching all the kids ATO chants and indoctrinating them to the massive club we are. But I'm excited for everything that's planned.
And what
Putting in
there
the
is
work.
another case. There's another case of voluntold there. But I think one of the other
Thank you.
one of the other things we're trying to work on as well is get another couple of I'm going to say the word voices from around the league, and people to come on who are both fans of the game but also maybe in positions that give their opinions some clout, let's say. So working on that.
Okay, right on. So you got a packed schedule over the next few weeks for sure. You got the home opener against Cavalry, which is April 9th. I think the next thing up is CCSG is co-hosting a viewing party with Atletico Ottawa on March 24th for the men's national team World Cup qualifying game against Costa Rica. That's coming up really soon. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, you guys can chime in whenever, because this is the most talking I do. I'm starting to feel like a front man in a band or something. But
are you not?
March? Well, I like when the guys are talking for me. But I'm very excited about it. This is we're gonna clinch a World Cup spot on the 24th of March. In Costa Rica.
Are you calling it?
At the Stade National. And the only thing better than clinching a World Cup spot is having a party with your local football club as they reveal their brand spanking new sexy AF alternate kit. I mean, I was very excited to roll that out on Monday. I mean, I thought that was just like the bee's knees, man. I thought that was great. So it's a late kickoff. It's at 10 p.m. It's at the Glebe Central Pub. They've been incredible, allowing us to host these Canada parties. If you have not yet been to a capital city Voyageurs this time /ATO Canada viewing party at the Glebe Central Pub, you have not been anywhere in the last 6 months, because it's been incredible. They're packed every single time. The atmosphere is crazy. We're singing the chants. The service is very good. The bar is extremely welcoming. We've had local press there. We've had journalists there. We've had people from the league there, people from the club there. So it's been spectacular, and you don't want to miss March 24th, kit launch. Canada's going to clinch it. We're going to Qatar. I'm going to try not to cry when that happens. I've been waiting a very, very, very long time, longer than most. If you have ever met me, I've got a lot of gray hair. So, I've been waiting a long time for this. Eddie, not so much, but it's something that I'm extremely excited about, and it couldn't happen at a better time, just a couple of weeks before the home opener. So you got to sign up though on the website. If you go to Atletico's website, and they'll have a link on it on their main page, a hyperlink about the viewing party, and sign up there, and then you'll be able to get in.
So you have to RSVP to get in.
The demand has been so big in the last two that this has been the way for us to make sure that we don't turn people away, that we don't have to, because that's just been the case, and the demand has just been so great. And now we're adding the elements of the kit launch as well as the possibility of clinching a World Cup berth to this. So we just want to make sure that everybody's, if you can't make it to the Glebe Central Pub, you can still not make it. You don't have to go all the way over there. You can turn it on One Soccer at home, or you can hit up the Senate as well, because they tend to play the matches as well if you can't get in.
So I know you guys are going to cover a ton in your season preview, but I do just want to ask all of you just two questions about the upcoming season. There's not many people who know more about the team than you do. So my first question. Who is one player in particular that you think fans should get very excited for?
Eddie, you want to jump at this one, mate?
We got a lot of new players.
That's a hard one player. I mean, everyone we signed, you should be excited about. It's hard to pick. Obviously, there's, Balou Tabla, who comes from, played in Barcelona, played in Montreal. Like, that's a huge signing. Now you have Sissoko with a huge resume as well. Then the Spanish guys we brought in. But I'm going to go with Niba McDonald. He's just early on. He was, the 9 a.m. signing. People might have, missed that. He's going to be a fantastic center back. Like the way he's playing from the highlights and just his energy I see from the pictures, he seems like a great guy to have on the team and just a hard-nosed defender, which you love to see as a defender myself. And I don't know, I can just see him running towards the dub with his shirt off, just as a 90th minute winner. He seems like the one person on the team that would do that. And I'm super excited to see him in the flesh for sure.
Thomas, what about you?
I'll go to a certain extent compatriot and say Ollie Bassett.
I was going to say Ollie Bassett. Okay, I'll pick someone else.
I think Eddie's choice of Niba is a fantastic one. I think we really lacked defensive solidity last year. And I think Eddie's picturing him topless, considering that's like his Instagram profile picture as well. And I mean, we would all die to see McDonald Niba topless, to be honest. Ollie Bassett was very impressive in the first half of the season last year. His form kind of dipped away after he was selected a little less. There's some interesting conversations he has about that on the Atletico YouTube channel, actually. But I really think that was like the adaptation year. And the idea that Pacific didn't go all out and go, okay, this guy's got 12 months experience in the Canadian Premier League now, and let's keep it going. He's very creative, very versatile, can go in a lot of different areas. And as we saw from the Atletico Ottawa Instagram story and stuff that got posted whilst they were in Spain, he came first in the bleep test. So, the man's got lungs for days.
And Dan?
Well, I love the dead ball kick, so I really think Ollie Bassett is wonderful, and it's going to be wonderful also to see Carl Haywood back in an Ottawa kit. I think having the options for those two dead ball guys in the roster is massive in a league that is perpetual with its yellows and cautions and penalties. So I think that's massive. But I'll pick Tabla because I think that this guy has got a lot to prove. He's got a lot of critics, and when you take a player that is up against the wall like that is so skilled, that's had to reinvent themselves not only as a footballer but as a person. This is a make or break year for Tabla, and I think that he's well aware of that. And we're going to see fireworks from this guy. I think that he not only is going to be able to be a great one-touch finisher, but he is going to assist in a lot of creative goals up top. And it doesn't matter if it's Shaw putting them in or anybody else up top. I think that Tabla is an absolute keystone for the 2022 Atletico Ottawa side. Pardon me. Jeez, my beer's half done.
Yeah. No, I think I was thinking like, okay, who would I actually give for my answer? And like Tabla, I think is a great call. If anything, just for the storylines. Like I don't think there's a player that gets better storylines than his potential redemption story. But one player that I'm most excited for is Sissoko, because I don't think that there's a player who's got a better resume in the whole league, I think, than him. So I'm really, really curious to see, what he can do. Now, question 2, which might be one of the most key questions for the season going forward, is who is going to be the next player to jump into the dub, to go dub jumping?
That's a tough question. That's a very tough question. Obviously, Pally is the first person. I mean, I said it. I think it's Niba. I don't know who. I'm trying to think just from what we see from preseason, who has the most personality. He's the one that's always smiling, and he has his own fan page, which is linked in his own Instagram bio. if there's anyone,
did you start that, Eddie? Did you start?
no,
that
I didn't start that. I would if that wasn't existed. But I mean, if there's any person who seems to be really connected with the fans, it seems to be him. And I don't know. I can picture us shooting on the other end, and he's back, and then we score, and he runs towards the dub, and I can see that with the smoke flying and pictures everywhere, and us chanting that we're massive. So,
in all fairness, he is very photogenic, so I think that would work really well.
So
He's a tasty dish, right?
Honestly, to call all of the boys out, and I hope that some Atletico people are listening to this. I don't care who jumps in the dub. I want people, Malcolm Shaw, Brian Wright especially, calling both of you out right now. Stop running towards the empty stand when you score. Come towards us. Come celebrate.
We have smokes and chants. Like, why are you going there? Come on now.
There we go. I've thrown them under the bus, and I want to see more. Regardless of jumping in the dub, I want to see more celebrating in front of the dub this season.
Yes.
Adebayor style, full length of the field, knee slides. That's what I want.
There you go.
It certainly makes for a way better ticket promo for 2023. I'll tell you that right now. I mean, I think Nathan Ingham won't be outdone by anybody. So I'm going to pick him. I'm going to say that, Ingham is just going to double down, and he's going to do it twice probably. He's the kind of guy that he's so competitive that he'll go, oh, you did that? Okay, well then I'll cartwheel into the dub. I think he's just he's going to be the one to do it. If anyone's going to do it, it'll be him. I think we're going to get so many goals this year that he's going to have the pick of the litter on when to do it. So it'll be great. But that would be my pick, Josh. I would say, it's going to be a keeper's tradition, and I just think Ingham won't be outdone. He'll do it.
I like that. I think you guys should put a target, like jump here.
Honestly, how good a tifo would that be? Just literally just a target that just says Looney Tunes style writing, jump here.
I love it. Another event you guys got on the docket is April 2nd. There's going to be a Chant Night. Now I'm a terrible supporter. I don't know what a Chant Night is. So someone please tell me what happens at a Chant Night.
I got you. So April 2nd, we have it scheduled for 7 p.m., but sun might be gone, so we might have to bump that up a little bit. It's on a Saturday, so hopefully people can make it. It's basically a night / evening where we just practice the chants. We've been working on chants all off season and have a refresher on the upcoming chants, just so when we go to the game, people know what the chants are, know how they go, so that we have more people chanting and not just like, what's this song again? How does it go? So we'll be handing out the chants we have on our sheets and just practicing and basically having a blast, seeing everyone again. It's basically like a camp orientation, like the week before it finally starts. So it's gonna be a blast. Bring your beverages in a water, because you're gonna need
in a
water.
Paper bag.
Yeah, you're gonna need water. That's what I mean by beverages. And bring something that can help your throat, because we're gonna be chanting for a while. It's gonna be a blast. And by the time boys will be there, co-event, it's gonna be awesome. Can't wait.
Honestly, man, like Eddie has been, and Brandon as well, actually, they've been working so hard during this off season. The CCSG members chat and Discord is popping off every few days with different chant suggestions. Eddie, where do you get half the inspiration for this stuff, man?
Brandon and I just look up chants on YouTube from different teams and then run away from our camp groups to make chants at lunch, and here we chant them for a while and get people involved. So it's been a great time. Chant
camp counselor Eddie Benhin.
The creative process being revealed here.
Can you tell I'm a full-time student? I don't know.
All right, guys. We got 5 minutes to fit in. I think one last question. So, of course, you guys are going to be most excited for opening day. Can you tell the good listener what do you have planned for that first day back at TD Place?
Yeah, so we have.
I'm going to say Eddie's leading a lot of this. You should probably let us know, eh?
Yeah, Eddie is leading a lot of it for sure. But we do have multiple events on the 2nd of April. They're co-events with the Bytown Boys and Capital City Supporters Group. Super key. It's super crucial. Eddie, take it away.
Yeah, so come opening game, we're all going to be at the Senate Tavern, and we're all going to have a blast for a pregame. And then we're gonna march towards the field, towards the arena. And I think last year we had maybe like 60 people there. I hopefully have the same amount, maybe even more. It's gonna be a blast. We're gonna do some chants, walking up. It's gonna be absolute scenes. We might tip off some journalists and stuff to, get some videos, photographs, and we're gonna march in there, get our tickets, and march to the field. And might be a smoke show, might be, who knows? But it's gonna be a blast. Whatever you saw last year from the march, we're trying to make it even better. And we just want to bring the energy from even before the game starts. So I can't wait. Like, I'm counting down the days. It's going to be like a celebration.
It's an absolute celebration. It is a tailgate of biblical proportions. We start early. Everyone gets together, both groups. It's a complete, wonderful bonding experience. Everyone gets to be reacquainted. Everyone gets to know one another. We then march over the Canal Bridge, the historic bridge, into the stadium grounds, take our place where we belong in Section W. And from that moment on, it's a symbol of the beginning of a season that awaits. And we do chants from beginning first whistle to last whistle, but we also do it the entire length of the march. Supporters marches are extremely special. They're right up there with the supporters scarf in terms of their significance. We don't do them often. We do them when they count. And the home opener is an absolute crucial, quintessential moment in our calendar year. So please come out. We will have more materials. Follow Capital City Supporters Group on all of our social media, at Capital City SG on everything. You can go to capitalcitysupporters.com for more information as well. But we have everything from the 24th of March with the viewing party, the 2nd of April with the Chant Night, the 9th of April with the home opener and the supporters march. And one of the things I want to chirp in here really quickly is we have an official pub announcement. Our supporters group has an official pub. They're hosting all the viewing parties with drink specials, football-centric menu items. And we couldn't be happier to be associated with the Glebe Central Pub. They've been absolutely spectacular with us. They've been
Is this breaking news?
They've been creative in allowing us to do what we want. So every single Capital City event will be held at the Glebe Central Pub, ground zero for supporters here in Ottawa.
Fantastic. All right. Zoom is about to kick us off, but guys, this has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining. Dan, Thomas, Eddie, I think this is your 5th time on. I think you're less a guest than a correspondent.
Just
I'm gonna
give
have
me
to get you
belt
like
already. Just I need an official
like
title.
a commemorative tea towel or something.
I need your merch. I need to step over.
We're gonna have to get some merch. That's it. I mean, I got yours, so.
Oh, I love that.
Thanks again, Josh. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Absolutely.